Got it. Healthcare. You've said you want to repeal and replace Obamacare. Both strike me as pretty tall orders. Repeal it how?
Well, you repeal it by making it a major condition of the fall campaign, and you challenge every member of the House and Senate to pledge that they will stay in session on January 3rd, 2013, and they will repeal it before I'm sworn in as president on January 20th. And I think by October, they're going to find it very dangerous to go running around saying, no, I won't. And so your first goal is to win the election. See, I'm actually an old-fashioned American. I believe you run an election on real ideas. You actually win the vote of the American people by winning the argument. Then you have elected people who promise to do something which the American people expect them to actually keep their word on. And that's the model we used in the contract in 1994. It's the model Ronald Reagan used in 1980. And it turns out to have an enormous amount of power tied to it.
Repeal it and replace it. Replace it with what?
I think replace it with a much more decentralized system that gets back to you and your doctor and your hospital, so that health once again becomes a local, personal matter rather than a Washington bureaucratic matter.
Okay. So this brings us again to this notion of changing the entire political landscape. You said, you were questioned about Medicare in an interview in December, and you replied, quote, "You govern over the long term by having the American people think you're doing a good job," close quote. Entitlement after entitlement, Social Security, Medicare, all the entitlements, the polls show over and over and over again, people want smaller government, yes, but they want the entitlements. How do you do that?
Well, let's take two examples.
All right.
On Social Security, I want to offer younger people the right to choose a personal Social Security savings account. We have absolute historic proof that in Chile for 30 years, people have been allowed to have a personal Social Security savings account. They're getting 2 or 3 times as much money as they would have gotten under the traditional system. You also reduce the inequality of wealth in a country by about 50% over a generation, because everybody becomes an investor and a saver from day one. And so you suddenly have, today when you pay your Social Security tax, it goes to the government. In a personal Social Security savings account, it becomes your estate. If something happens to you, the money belongs to your family. So it's a fundamental shift. It also means no politician ever again tells you when to retire. It's your money, you're working, you retire when you feel like it. You don't have to have some politician dictate your life. Now, there you have a model which leads to a better system with greater returns coming off a fundamentally different principle, the principle of compound interest over time, rather than transferring money in the old order. And there's an example where you can actually win the argument for a better system that is an earned entitlement rather than a given entitlement. And I think that that's a change. Secondly, yeah, sure.
Sounds good. During the 1970s, almost an entire decade, the stock market just went sideways. 1987, wasn't it? The stock market dropped by almost a third in a couple of days. So what you said sounds good in theory, but there are moments you can point to in American history when if you had wanted to retire in 1977, say, that would have been a bad moment for you under the Gingrich plan. Is that right?
Well, except if you decided to retire in 1977, you probably began working in 1927, and you now had the compound interest built up for your entire lifetime since 1927. So while it wasn't as good as it would have been in 1970, it was still huge. And in the Chilean system, and also in Galveston, Texas,
the city of Galveston.
The city of Galveston is the only place in the United States that was allowed to opt out. Congress made it illegal after they opted out. So their public employees are actually in a personal savings account model. Chile actually guarantees that everybody will get at least the minimum Social Security check. So if you fell below, you'd still get at least the minimum. In 30 years, they've never written a single check, because it turns out you normally have 2 or 3 times as much. So to drop from 2 or 3 times as much to below 1 is an enormous decline, and it's never occurred.
And who handles the investments?
They actually contract out to a series of companies.
So it's not the government choosing
It's not the government. In fact, there's a firm in Des Moines, Iowa, that is one of the major managers of the Chilean system.
Really? All right. But I'm sorry, there was a parenthesis. You said there was a second example.
Well, the second example is Medicare, where what I want to do is give people more choices so that they can use their own money if they want to. They can contract with their own doctor. They don't get trapped into Medicare red tape and Medicare regulations. And our goal should be, as conservatives, that we want a market in which you as a consumer have a greater range of choices, you know price and quality information, and you can make an informed decision. And I believe that millions of individual consumers will do a better job driving down price than a handful of bureaucrats issuing rules in Washington.